on and on. Heather's in the house. Good morning, Heather. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Good. It is good to see you. Traffic out there is a little crazy, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Oh, goodness, yes. I felt like I was kind of rolling through the parking lot on two wheels because it got so backed up.
And you especially when you come in the way you came over the stack, it does feel like you're the target.
Exactly. I've forgotten how Jackson traffic can be.
Ooh, and it's just getting worse and worse. But then that's the way it is.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year again, Huntington's disease, and kudos to you for bringing this to the forefront. It is an illness caused by a faulty gene in your DNA, the biological instructions you inherit, which tell your cells what to do, and it manifests itself. At what age normally?
Normal Huntington's is 30 to 50.
Really?
Yeah. There is a juvenile version, and I'm very impressed. That you, not being insulting in any way, I'm very impressed that you knew all that.
No, don't be impressed. I've had Google here. I'm okay.
Dr. Google.
Yes.
But there is a juvenile version, and they call the adult version the devil's disease. But I don't know how you would describe the juvenile because it is so much worse.
Really?
Well, with the adult version, there are, some will have seizures, some will have pain. In the juvenile version, it's just about a guarantee. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you'll recall last year I was telling you guys about a young girl that had just passed away. The anniversary was about a week and a half ago. Her mom just found out that that Chloe's little sister also has juvenile Huntington. She had a CAG of 149. In adult cases, with the way it works is the CAG portion of your DNA, however many repeats, and they've actually extended. So now they're kind of saying that if you have 30 to 31 and above, that's always been the gray area. And it still is the gray area, but they've widened that gray area. And, if you have, say, about 34 or more, it's kind of being said now that at some point you'll develop. But 40 has always been the key. If you had 40 or more repeats, you will develop Huntington's in your life. The gray area, you may not develop it, but you could pass it on to your children. And the children of a Huntington's patient, each child has a 50-50 chance. For example, my stepdaughter has a 50-50 chance. My son has a 50-50 chance each. It's not a case of, if this child gets it, this one won't. That is not the case.
What about the parents of your husband?
His mom had it.
I got you.
His mom had it, and that's where he inherited. Thankfully, his brother and sister's been tested. She does not have it. Brother has kind of surpassed the window. So since he hasn't shown signs or symptoms, it's doubtful that he has it.
When you get that test, that blood test when you get married, back 10, 15 years ago, do you do it today? Is that one of the tests you take?
When Nathan and I got married 10 years ago, we didn't have to take the blood test. But that does not factor. That's not something, unless they've changed things, that's not something they test for.
I'm not even sure. Do you have to take a blood test today?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I don't think you do. We didn't, and we've been married 10 years.
Yeah. It is a good idea, wouldn't you think, for both to take before you decide to have children?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of, the saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him you've got a plan.
Yeah.
Well, we'd been married 6 months, and we were discussing, we knew that at that time we knew Huntington's was a possibility, but you never think it's going to happen to you. But we had discussed, because I turned 40 right after we got married. And when we talked about, hey, do we want to have kids? We decided, let's table this. We've only been married 6 months. We'll look at our options later. And then Nathan had an appointment with a neurologist. And his general practitioner, I forget the reasoning why, but when we mentioned that his mom had Huntington's, it was like everything just stopped. And then she tells us, hey, there is a way you can have kids and guarantee that the child doesn't have Huntington's. And I told Nathan as we left, I said, we need to look into that. Mm-hmm. 2 hours later, I got really sick, and that was the day we found out that Hayden was on the way.
Wow.
We were not trying. We had decided to table that and to wait till we'd been married at least a year.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. And, you just,
You have gathered a lot, because you've been at this now for several years, mm-hmm. and you've kind of brought together a family across the state. And the last time you were on, we said, informed the audience about how many people mm-hmm. in the state of Mississippi, some of the numbers. Is that down or up, or just to give us an idea how many cases of Huntington's across the state?
Well, the last count that I've had, it hasn't changed from last year. Mm-hmm. But then again, I haven't gotten an updated count. But there are at least 200 families.
Wow.
Dealing with Huntington's. But when you stop and think, how many people are in a family? Yep. We're a family of 4. And there are several out there that have, their parents had way more children. So, 200 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you stop and think about how many people are in a family, how many people are affected, because even though Nathan has the disease, it's a family disease. I am taking care of my husband. I have to feed him. I have to dress him. My 9-year-old has helped me feed him, has helped me dress him, has helped me bathe him. So it affects everybody in the family in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah. The medication, nothing's changing out there? Any research at all? Is anything helping?
The research right now, when Nathan first got diagnosed, there were only two companies trying to do something, mm-hmm. Trying to find a cure, trying to find a treatment. And last year in June, when we went to the HDSA convention in New Orleans, there's over 50, and that's growing. It's just, hard to get things off the ground, though. There are quite a few companies that want to do, but the FDA, has rules, and you have to go through all these steps. So a lot of them are still kind of trying to get into the arena. But, 50 companies is a lot for a disease that is used to having nothing.
Then you have the complications of this is not through the avenue of a virus, but through genetic altering.
Yeah.
So that's a whole new ballgame.
Well, and there are, I don't know a whole lot about them because they're still trying to get them off the ground, but there are some of the CRISPR types of trials that they feel like will be down the road. I wish I had Dr. Wong here and Dr. Sung, Nathan's 2 doctors. They could answer that part a whole lot more. But, when Nathan first got diagnosed in 2016, he was diagnosed April 15th of 2016. And we started doing a thing called Enroll HD. It's a database for Huntington's. And,
Hold it right there. We'll continue in just a moment. The Huntington Disease Association, I was on the website a few moments ago. It's got so much on there, too, also. What is the disease? What causes it? Disease symptoms, juvenile Huntington's disease, blogs and stories and events and news, getting help, genetic testing positive, starting a family, et cetera, all those things to do research on that. But more from firsthand experience. All right, let me continue with this one because the big walk is coming up. This is a nationwide effort too, isn't it?
It is. It is. There are walks all over the United States. Matter of fact, our neighboring state, Alabama, had theirs a couple of weeks ago, and ours is in about 3 weeks. So we chose May because May is HD Awareness Month, and so we kind of wanted to have our walk coincide with that. So and it's been the same weekend. Matter of fact, we've already got next year's date already on the books.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I'm kind of proactive.
Just thinking about yes, we know that as a member of the family here. We know that.
Yeah. So.
I do, and I want to tell us exactly when and where and everything else. But first of all, I think there's more hope now because we hear all the negative things about AI, but artificial intelligence in the world of research kicking it into high gear on things like Huntington's disease, cancer, and so many more is bringing all of that information into one scope at an unbelievable amount of time. And there's a lot of possibilities there.
Right.
Never give up hope.
Right. And see, that's the thing is, you have to have that hope.
Yeah. But you also have to have the money, and that's why we have the walk.
Exactly. Exactly. What these walks fund is for Huntington's Disease Society of America to, it funds all kinds of things. It goes back into the Huntington's community. It funds our Centers of Excellence, which is focused on Huntington's. And we have one right here in Mississippi at UMMC. Dr. Jubin Wong runs that clinic. And so, that money it's raised in Mississippi, but it also will go towards things in Mississippi. It's not like, we're raising all this money and it's going out of state. The money's raised from all these walks, fund Centers of Excellence, fund education days, fund grants to help in research to find a treatment or a cure for Huntington's. And, that means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Nathan was always, and he would do it now if he was allowed, but the clinical trials kind of geared towards people who are barely showing signs and symptoms. So if you feel like you have Huntington's and you're not showing signs and symptoms, or you're barely showing signs or symptoms, these trials, you're the person they want. But also, if you feel like you have Huntington's, they can't treat the disease, they can't treat that, but they can treat the symptoms. For example, Nathan takes a medication that helps control the chorea. Chorea are the movements, like with a lot of Huntington's patients, they can't control their movements. So they're always jerking and arms flailing or legs flailing and that kind of thing. And Nathan takes a medication that helps control that. And within the past year, a new medication has come out that does very similar. And so at least if nothing else, we're getting new medications to help treat the symptoms. So that is some progress. It's not all when Nathan first got diagnosed, the first thing I said to him when I saw him, because I was across the street, our son ate a Tide Pod the night before, so I was at Blair Batson.
Thanks for throwing that in.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was a gang fling. But anyhow, nobody knows what those are. Mm-mm. But anyhow, when he got back to the hospital room, the first thing I said was, your mom's walk with Huntington's will not be your walk. And your dad's walk with Huntington's will not be mine. And a large part of that is because of time. She passed away, I believe, the year before the gene was even discovered. They discovered the gene for Huntington's in 1993. And she passed away before they even had the gene discovered. So now they know what to look for. Now it's just a case of it's been a long road. 30 years. Yeah. But there are advancements, and that was part of the reason why I told Nathan, your walk with it won't be your mom's. My walk with it won't be your dad's, because of the advancements in things. And, I hope and pray that our kids don't inherit. I pray that it stops with Nathan. But if there is a walk with Huntington's for them. It won't be their dad's walk. It won't be my walk. And that's why I do these things.
This is, I don't think this is a crazy question. Is medical marijuana part of that possibility of relieving some of the pain?
Well, I've heard mixed things about it. We actually went to an event recently where someone was telling us, he was from out of state, and he was telling us that he had tried that with his wife. She passed away a few months ago, and that it seemed to help her. But we've been told that the things in medical marijuana or marijuana slow the body down, and that's kind of what Huntington's kind of does already to a degree. But like I said, it's been mixed. Now, if I thought it was something, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but if it was something that on anything, any type of medication, if I was guaranteed or if I knew that Nathan wouldn't get worse, I'd be the first one in line to get it for him.
Well, you also have two different objectives there. Number one, just to relieve the pain, make him more comfortable, even though it's not going to help the disease make him any better.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's one of those tough decisions that you always have to make. Right.
But I will say this, if you're going for clinical trials, if you've ever done that, or in some of the questionnaires that we've had in the past, if you've ever had marijuana in any form, it kind of puts you out. So you would not be eligible for the trials.
Let's get to the walk. Where is it? When is it?
It is May 18th at the Flowood Nature Park.
Got 18 days.
Yep. And we are needing, we have some wonderful sponsors, and SuperTalk being our main one. My SuperTalk family, I always brag about my SuperTalk family because it's not just a bunch of coworkers. You guys are family, and you guys have always treated us, especially once we got Nathan's diagnosis. I mean, we were enveloped. And I can't say enough of appreciation for my SuperTalk family. And SuperTalk is a sponsor, and we're needing more sponsors. Now, the deadline has passed that if you become a sponsor to get on the T-shirts, but we'll have your sign out there. You'll be able to talk if you want, have a presence. And we're also needing volunteers. We're needing people who are willing to take photographs of the walk so we can share those with HDSA, and HDSA can push those out there. We can share those photos for Huntington's awareness. We need people to register. You can go to hdsa.org/THWMS, Team Hope Walk Mississippi. I always have to spell it out so when I put it in. We have teams on there. And I will say our friends, Team Turner, Cheryl and T. Turner out of Starkville, Mississippi, they have blown it out of the park yet again this year. Our goal is $15,000, and we're hoping to reach that, if not surpass it. So you can go there, you can donate, you can register, you can donate to a team, you can create a team, you can join a team. My personal favorite is the Wilmoth Warriors, but, sponsorships, we need things donated to raffle off day of the walk. I'm sorry, I got a little choked there. Donations for raffle items for the day of the walk. We could use any and everything, and everything done is appreciated so greatly.
Absolutely. If you do want to help out, you got a number, or just go to the website? Or
you can go to the website. My number's given there, but I'll give it out. 601 754 6323.
6323.
Yes. And if
Heather will answer.
Yeah, and if I don't answer, leave me a voicemail. I will call you back. If I'm taking care of Nathan, or if I'm at work or something, I won't be able to answer, but I will get back to you.
All of your questions, if you want to be an angel and help out one way or the other with dollars or products or volunteer, You mind if I send this out on X, on Twitter?
Absolutely, please, and you feel free to tag me and everything.
I will do it in a moment or two. Heather, as always, good luck and God bless.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you for letting me come again.